Griselbrand and Tendrils of Agony in the same deck. You heard me correctly. We're playing an all-time classic today. Tin Fins with a spicy sideboard juke. Let's go check it out. What exactly is Tin Fins? Well, at its core, it's Reanimator mixed with Storm. So the idea behind this deck is that you want to get Griselbrand onto the battlefield, which usually happens with the card Shallow Grave or Goryo's Vengeance. So the idea is that you reanimate your Griselbrand, you attack, and then you draw a bunch of cards. With those cards, you can play Lotus Petal or Dark Ritual, and then you want to cast Entomb to put Children of Korlis in the graveyard. You then bring back the Children of Korlis, you gain a bunch more life, and then you draw even more cards. Eventually, you can also use Sheoldred, the Apocalypse, to create an even better card than Children of Korlis for drawing cards. So you'll be able to draw your library plus gain 50 plus life. That's what the Sheoldred's really here for. And then eventually you can cast Tendrils of Agony. Additionally, you also have Emrakul, the Aeons Torn, which has the ability that you shuffle in your graveyard into your library. The idea is that you play Entomb, you put Emrakul to the graveyard, there's a trigger that happens, and then you respond to the trigger with Shallow Grave and bring back the Emrakul. You annihilate your opponent for a bunch, and then you win the game. So the problem with this deck is that traditionally it loses to graveyard hate pretty badly. So in the sideboard today, we're playing a full juke. We're playing Orcish Bowmasters, Dauthi Voidwalker, Sheoldred the Apocalypse, and then the Helm of Obedience package with Leyline of the Void that also works with Dauthi Voidwalker. So we're becoming like a Dimir Scamish combo deck in the post-board games, completely sideboarding out the combo package that uses the graveyard for a more fair game plan. And why is this deck called Tin Fins? Well, it's a reference to an early 2000s cartoon, C-Lab 2021. Welcome to Legacy, where the deck names are terrible. But it's a really sweet deck, and I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Is there cards that you would like to see in it instead? Or what would you play? I'm open to feedback, but this is a pretty stock list, so we're going to try this today. And without any further ado, let's head on into the first match. I'll see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to round number one. We're on the draw. We've opened up Thoughtseize, Shallow Grave, Force of Will. We just need an Entomb, and this hand is ready to go. I think we keep this. Okay. Scalding Tarn, Volcanic Island, and Dragon's Rage Channeler. Izzet Delver. Could be splashing green for Questing Druid. It could also be splashing black for Orcish Bowmasters. Another Shallow Grave. Let's play an Undercity Sewers. We'll Surveil. We don't need that. That can go straight to the graveyard. Okay, pass. Wasteland, that hurts. We lose our Undercity Sewers. And they play Ponder. Surveils away a Delver of Secrets. So they'll have creature, sorcery, artifact, land. Their Dragon's Rage Channeler will be Delirious. And they attack for 3, we go to 17. Underground Sea. I'm going to attempt a Thoughtseize here. Okay, it's quite the hand. Let's take Force of Will. Pass the turn. They attack, we'll go to 12. Another Shallow Grave. Play Underground Sea, we'll pass the turn. Our hand looking a little clunky at the moment. We'll take it, we go to 9. And they pass. They have 5 cards remaining. Lotus Petal. Let's try a Brainstorm. And they just let it go, but unfortunately my Brainstorm was a complete miss. And I am Brainstorm locked. Am I deterministically dead here? I think I might be. We'll play the land and pass. They play a Brainstorm. Include a Delta, so they're going to attack. I go to 6. And I have to draw through 2 cards that I can't use. Okay, well, we know that our opponent has Force of Will backup, so I'm going to lose this fight. We can just go to game number 2. And I could sideboard into this plan, But I'm not expecting like Leyline of the Void from our opponent, so I'm going to try to stick with, maybe I'll board in the Shield Red, maybe that's fine, but I'm going to stick with the current game plan. Board out maybe one Thoughtseize. I've changed my mind. I'm going to board out one Lim-Dûl's Vault instead. I was considering keeping the Lim-Dûl's Vault for blue count, but I think Thoughtseize is just a higher impact card. And now we're going to game number 2. Yeah, this is good. Keep. We'll play Bloodstained Mire and pass. So we have a turn 2 with Force of Will backup. That's a Delver of Secrets. So if they have like Daze plus Force of Will or Daze plus Surgical Extraction, that would hurt us. But I don't think I can afford to play around that. We'll play Entomb. Put Griselbrand to the graveyard. We draw the Emrakul. Okay. Not ideal. We'll attempt a Shallow Grave. And that resolve. Let's attack. So we're going to go up to 26. Let's draw 7. No Lotus Petals in there. Let's draw 7 more. No Lotus Petals still. So I could draw 7 more, but I'm a little bit worried. I'll go to 5, and then they'll have a Delver Secrets. And maybe I should just go for it. All right. We're going to pay 7. I won't be a coward. And we missed. Okay, so we're going to pass the turn at 5 life. All of our Lotus Petals are in the bottom 50% of our deck. The Griselbrand will exile itself. And now we need to basically keep a perfect hand here. And I can't discard the Emrakul or else it will shuffle in the other Griselbrand, which is problematic. Unless I want that to happen. And then I keep an Entomb instead for next turn. I'm not sure about that one. Okay, so I've just discarded a lot of cards. And now Delver Secrets will happen. It did not flip. I'll take 1 going down to 4. Misty Rainforest, and they're passing. Okay. This is it. Dark Ritual. And we'll attempt a Goryo's Vengeance on the Griselbrand. They're going to Lightning Bolt me in response. Okay, I think I have to Force of Will that. We'll exile a Daze. Griselbrand. And now they're fetching in response to that. Another Lightning Bolt. Okay, we will Force of Will that. I am at 2 life. We'll lose the black mana we have floating. Go to combat, attack for 7. We'll go back down to 2. Draw 7. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. And Shallow Grave here should get back the Children of Korlis. So now I can gain some more life. Dark Ritual. Shallow Grave. Maybe I was supposed to get the other Shield Red instead. No, because I wouldn't be able to draw the cards. Well, I could have brainstormed. Maybe it was a punt. We'll draw 7. And there's the Tendrils of Agony. Okay, we'll play a land. I'll go to 3. Grab Underground Sea. And Tendrils. Who's the Storm deck now? Let's go. Okay, so we got to do the thing in game number 2, but now we need to get game number 3. I'm going to leave it as is. Game number 3, we're on the draw. So we have Griselbrand in our opening hand. In these situations, you could consider draw discard, but we don't have a land to start, and we don't have a way to bring back the Griselbrand, so I believe that this hand is a mulligan. This seems fine. We'll bottom the Lotus Petal. Okay. With this hand, we're really looking to draw an Entomb fairly quickly. Polluted Delta. And I'll just pass for now. I don't want to get into a Daze War over the Thoughtseize. They use Scalding Tarn and a Channeler. So they kept that mana open on turn 1 for a reason. Ponder. Let's fetch. Grab the basic. Let's attempt Ponder. This is not what we want. We will shuffle. And we drew Griselbrand. So in theory, I could Thoughtseize myself into the Goryo's Vengeance. That is a avenue we could take. They fetch with Polluted Delta and pick up a Volcanic Island. Brainstorm. Soul Guide Lantern. That's annoying. I think I'm supposed to daze this. And now I have to daze it again. We'll grab... I'm supposed to grab Underground Sea here. So I could have done the combination with Undercity Sewers and got my Surveils on. But if they have their own copy of Daze, I probably just lose. And they got rid of a counterbalance there. The Dragon's Reach Channeler is Delirious. I can't but wonder if I'm supposed to just go to discard over the next 2 turns. So I would go to 9. Maybe my life total is just too low for that. I'm not sure. But I don't really see an avenue out without doing that, so I think I'll pass here. The attack for 3 will go to 12. And another counterbalance. Okay. And Ponder. We drew another Griselbrand. Okay. Things are not looking good for us. Discard the Griselbrand. They have a second Dragon's Rage Channeler. They swing, will go to 9. Okay, they have 4 cards remaining. We'll play an island, cast Ponder. Their top card is Lightning Bolt. Alright, I am deterministically dead. So we'll concede this. Unfortunately, we lost match number 1. It happens. Let's try to get the remaining 4 matches. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Match number 2, and we're facing my podcast co-host Phil Gallagher. We're on the play, and this hand is terrible. We have to send it back. Alright, so we have turn 1 Thoughtseize into Shieldred with Daze backup. Don't mind if I do. We'll keep in bottom the Entomb. Bloodstained Mire. We'll fetch. Grab Underground Sea because it casts Dark Ritual and is an island for the Daze. We'll cast the Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize them. Karn Forge, huh? Is this hand even good? I'm not sure that it is. Take the Mox Opal, Dark Ritual, Shieldred the Apocalypse. Go. Phil says that the Shieldred is not a combo card. City of Traders. You may have a Voltaic Key and a Manifold Key. Okay, so we know that Phil still has a Chromatic Star. We'll gain a little bit of life. Get in there for 4. Now Phil will go to 12. So Phil drew a City of Traders, which means that Phil can play Karn or Forge. I'll float a blue, and we will Daze. I feel like we're in a good spot here. Goryo's Vengeance. Attack for 4. Phil will now go to 6. Ancient Tomb. Grim Monolith was a good draw. So Phil can now play Karn the Great Creator and get something out of the sideboard. But I'm not sure what that something would be to stabilize here. Ensnaring Bridge? That could buy some time. Phil's last card in hand is a Chromatic Star. And the card was in fact Ensnaring Bridge. So we're unable to attack with the Shieldred. However, Shieldred over the course of the next few turns might also just beat Phil. We'll play Underground Sea. I cannot attack and we'll pass. And if Phil doesn't draw a land, Phil will have to lose 2 life to the Ancient Tomb, or not have mana. Minusing the Karn the Great Creator. Chooses Aetherflux Reservoir. Okay. There's the Reservoir. And then Chromatic Star will gain a life. That'd actually be 2 life. So Phil's back up to 4. And the last card was another land. Okay. Redraw Daze. We'll pass. And Phil's at 2 life. Can't draw off the Chromatic Star without losing. Lion's Eye Diamond. Phil ripped a spell. Lucky dog. Am I supposed to Daze this? Phil can't pay. And then that means that Phil has no mana for Karn next turn. Yeah, I'm supposed to Daze this. Okay. Dark Ritual. Doesn't really help me here. Pass the turn. Now Phil goes to 1 life. Minus the Karn. Chooses a Lion's Eye Diamond, so that will gain Phil a single life here. Makes 3 blue and is going to draw a card here with the Chromatic Star, and then the Shieldred will end the game. Yeah, I feel like this is another matchup where we're probably not supposed to sideboard. Like, the ley lines, assuming that Phil isn't on the Echo of Aeons versions, which are really outdated, I don't see a reason to board. We're just going to resubmit. So we don't have a blue card here. Against better judgment, I'm going to keep Ancient Tomb, Defense Grid. Okay. Ponder. Let's Thoughtseize. Doubling Cube. What are you up to, Phil? What are you up to over there? We'll take the Mystic Forge. Pass the turn. Lotus Petal was Phil's draw step. I'm guessing Phil's going to play everything here. Okay. We draw another Thoughtseize. Let's Ponder looking for Reanimate effect. We find a third Entomb. Shuffle. We have to pass. I was supposed to fetch on Phil's end step there, but I didn't. That's my bad. I was supposed to go get the Undercity Sewers. We'll fetch now. Grab the Sewers. And with that trigger on the stack, I'm going to fetch again. Thin our deck a little bit. These can go to the graveyard. Okay. Let's play a Thoughtseize. Echo of Aeons. So Phil is on the Echo build. We'll play out Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. City of Traders was Phil's draw step. But I think that Phil might be able to hardcast Echo here. 6 mana, 7 mana. Down to 4 mana to double. Yeah, Phil's going to be able to hardcast the Echo. We will Force of Will. Currently, Phil does not have blue mana to flash it back. We draw Thoughtseize. We will pass. I'm sorry, we drew Dark Ritual. I don't know why I said Thoughtseize. And Phil rips the blue mana for the Echo. Okay. We're in trouble. Untaps the Doubling Cube. Flashes back Echo of Aeons. City of Traders. Grim Monolith. We need Phil to pass the turn here. I don't know if that will actually happen. Untaps Grim Monolith. Another Voltaic Key. Mana is not the choke point. Jeweled Lotus. I had a feeling that that's what Phil was playing with the Doubling Cube in the deck. Untaps Doubling Cube. So now the Doubling Cube will make mana from the Jeweled Lotus, even though there's no commander cards in Phil's deck. So the Doubling Cube will end up making more blue mana that Phil can use. And that is a Mystic Forge. With all the mana in the world. Grim Monolith. And that's a defense grid. Jeweled Lotus. Voltaic Key. We're probably just dead here. Another Doubling Cube. Karn the Great Creator. So this can go get the Aetherflux Reservoir. Mycosynth Lattice. That will also do it. Okay, Phil. Okay. We're going to have to win game number 3 because I'm not going to allow Phil to think that Karn the Great Creator is good. So let's bring in Leyline of the Void for Echo of Aeons. Question is, what are we sideboarding out? Maybe Lim-Dûl's Vault. Because I feel like Lim-Dûl's Vault is a little slow here. And what if I don't bring in all 4? Like, it's only good against Echo and not the rest of the deck, so is boarding in 2 Leylines crazy? Because, like, everything else is pretty crucial for how our deck functions. Part of me wonders, like, do I even want the Leylines, or should I just bring in an extra Shield Dread? And then keep the 1 Lindbells for blue count for Force of Will? Because without it, we only have 16 blue cards. This is not keepable. Send that back. I guess so? We'll bottom a second Shallow Grave. We'll play Polluted Delta, pass. Ancient Tomb. Grim Monolith. Voltaic Key, good start for Phil here. Grim Monolith. Lotus Petal, 3 cards left in hand. Mystic Forge. I guess I'll try to brainstorm and see if I can find a Force of Will. Maybe I should have played the Underground Sea first. I really wanted to grab my Surveil land there. But we did find a Force of Will. Okay. Force of Will, exiling Force of Will. And now we need to hope that that buys us enough time, along with this Thoughtseize, to actually come back in this game. We'll play out the Lotus Petal because Phil is an Echo of Aeons deck, and that will pass. City of Traders, Chromatic Sphere, untaps Grim Monolith, into Karn, come on! Ugh. Phil, you're a madman. Phil murders my Lotus Petal. We're about to draw the Shallow Grave, and we have to pass. So the best possible outcome here is that on the end step I brainstorm into Entomb, untap and Shallow Grave. But I can't imagine we're going to live with a Karn the Great Creator on the table. It's just going to go grab the Mycosynth Lattice and we'll lose here. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So we have to brainstorm into Forcible and a blue card. That did not happen, and Phil unfortunately gets the match. We got game number 1, but lost both post-board games. So we are now 0-2. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. We're still looking for our first win. Let's try to get one in match number 3. So the game plan with this hand will be to draw and discard the Griselbrand, and hopefully we draw a blue card. And that means on turn 2 we have a win with Forcible backup. Elvish Reclaimer. That is terrible for the hardcast Griselbrand, or I'm sorry, discard Griselbrand plan. I think I'm going to just do it anyway, because I don't see a way to beat this Elvish Reclaimer otherwise. Flagstones. Okay. We draw Thoughtseize. We'll play Polluted Delta and pass. Okay, so they grab another Savannah. Basic Plains. I'm going to fetch here. I'm giving up my ability to respond and get back the Griselbrand, but I think that's okay. We'll pick up an Undercity Sewers. Definitely want Brainstorm. Play Polluted Delta. And I'm going to cast the Brainstorm. We'll put back Flooded Strand and a Dark Ritual. Let's fetch. Grab Underground Sea, and let's play Thoughtseize. Double crop rotation. I guess we have to take one here. Pass the turn. The crop rotation, sacrificing the flagstones. They pick up a Lush Portico. It's a pretty good one. Getting rid of Sylvan Safekeeper. Maybe I was supposed to force the crop rotation? Yeah, I think I messed up. Because now next turn they have Merit Lodge with backup. Out for the Reclaimer. Attack. Come on, attack. No. Entomb is probably our best draw here. Or that. Dark Ritual. Let's try a Goryo's Vengeance. So we're going to let Reclaimer find the Bajuka Bog, and then we're going to respond to the Bog trigger. And now we will Shallow Grave. Maybe I was supposed to do this in the other order, because then I could still have a Shallow Grave on the stack, and all I would have to do is draw into Entomb. So I should have played the reanimation spells in the opposite order. I'm just not familiar enough with this deck to have seen that until it happened. Swords to Plowshares. I will cast a Force of Will. I would like to draw 7. Play Lotus Petal. Let's draw 7 more down to 1 life. We found the Emrakul. Okay, I am forced to attack here. We are at 8. Let's go back to 1. We found a Dark Ritual. So now we can play the Tendrils of Agony for lethal. Boom. We have successfully tin-finsed. Alright, so we've gotten a game number 1. Now we need to get a game number 2. So I do think that this is probably a matchup where I want to do the sideboard juke, because they have Endurance, they have Elvish Reclaimer on crop rotation, and so many things. And I think here, I just want to try this game plan. We'll board out the Children, all of the Reanimate effects, the Tendrils of Agony, board out Entomb. That's 63, so now we're supposed to board out the creatures. And this is our complete juke. The most fair combo deck possible. Yeah, let's do it. Windswept Heath, Mox Diamond, discards a Dark Depths. That's an Elvish Reclaimer. You got it. Brainstorm. I'm going to start on the basic island and pass. They find a Lush Portico, basic forest. They still have 3 cards here. Gaddock Teague. The only card that shuts off, I guess it shuts off Helm. That's fine. I don't think that's the game we're playing here. On the end step, I will Brainstorm. We find Leyline of the Void, and no second black source, which is actually really awkward. Dark Ritual. I think I want Shieldred here. Maybe that's a bad idea. I don't know. In their upkeep, they cast a crop rotation. Caracas, I did not consider that. Okay, yeah, that stunk. I guess the play was Dothy Bowmasters? I feel as if I'm already too far behind this game. I'm going to hide the sideboard juke, and then let's just go to game number 3. I'd rather not show them all of the creatures. So, like, I could have tried to drag that game out, and, you know, likely I would have lost, because our opponent was already set up with an Elvish Reclaimer that could assemble the Dark Depths combo, and I would have gone nowhere. And I feel like that is a game where I would have bled information, and then my opponent would have known my game plan for game number 3, where conceding early, I get to hide what I'm doing, and maybe this game I can get out ahead. On the play. Sure, we'll try this. Let's fetch. And Thoughtseize. Veil of Summer. Legolas's Quick Reflexes, Elvish Reclaimer. I think we just take the Elvish Reclaimer. I'm going to stink getting my lands destroyed. There's a Wasteland. If this Flooded Strand was a polluted delta, I would have gotten the basic Swamp, but Flooded Strand cannot get basic Swamp. Alright, so we drew a blue card for Force of Will, but I still don't think using both of my Lotus Petals is worth flashing in Orcish Bowmasters. They play a Windswept Heath. Okay. I'm going to play out one Lotus Petal here, and that's because if they decide to get like a Dryad Arbor, I will kill it. And they grab a Lush Portico, keeping the card on top. Echoing Depths as a Windswept Heath. Sure. Leyline of the Void. Not really a good draw here. We're going to pass. They fetch. Thespian Stage. Deafening Silence. That's fine. Sure. Another Lim-Dûl's Vault. We will continue to pass. I guess at this point, if I wanted to, I could get the Undercity Sewers. And they just have the combo. I am dead. We have no answer to Dark Depths. The Brainstorm will not save me. We're just dead. Okay, we are now 0-3. There's been a little bit of tins, but no fins. And yeah, this is the life of a graveyard combo deck at the moment. So hopefully we get the next one. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Round number 4, let's see if we can get a win. Our opponent's playing 80 cards, so you can likely assume that there's a Yorion somewhere in there, and there it is. We cannot keep this hand, we will send it back. This is a turn 1 Shieldred, but I'm not sure if that's actually good enough here. We'll keep bottom the Tendrils, and instead of turn 1 Shieldred, what we could do is turn 1 Lim-Dûl's Vault for Entomb, and then try to win on turn 2. Pass the turn. Wasteland. So that actually stops my game plan here. We're just going to have to take a draw. If this was a polluted delta, it wouldn't have been a problem. But that's twice this late that Flooded Strand not being a black fetch land has burned me. Basic Plains. Yeah, I mean, this Tin Fins deck is not wanting to be good. I will say that. It feels pretty bad. I'm going to concede. Okay. We're not going to do the sideboard plan. Our opponent doesn't know that we're a creature graveyard deck, so I don't think we have to board in this fair plan that's probably not even good versus Death and Taxes anyway. Let's try it again. We're in the same spot we were in game 1. This is like almost an identical hand. We'll keep. So the game plan is turn 1, Lim-Dûl's Vault for a reanimation effect. Turn 2, Entomb, try to win. Underground Sea, Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. Windswept Heath. On the end step, we'll play a Lim-Dûl's Vault. We don't want any of these 5 cards, so those will go on the bottom. And we'll keep this. Okay, and now we're going to attempt a win. Dark Ritual. Entomb. We'll grab Griselbrand. Goryo's Vengeance. Let's draw 7. Let's draw 7 more. We'll go down to 5. We found an Entomb, but that's not good enough here. No Dark Rituals, no Lotus Petals. Attack for 7. Let's draw 7 more. I'll go to 5. There's a Dark Ritual and a Lotus Petal. All the Dark Rituals. Okay. So we should be able to do the thing here. We'll play Shieldred. At least we get to do the Shieldred thing once this league. And then we'll play Children of Korlis. Gain some life. And now when we draw off of the Griselbrand, the Shieldred is going to create a bunch of triggers that gain life. So now you can draw your entire library. So we're drawing 7 and then gaining a lot of life. And there's the Tendrils of Agony. Let's draw 7 more. We need to find a Lotus Petal or the last copy of Dark Ritual. No, that is all 4 Dark Rituals. There's a Lotus Petal. Let's draw down to 2 cards left. And we did not hit another Lotus Petal. Okay, I guess we're going to have to Tendrils of Agony. I wanted the Thoughtseize first, but we are unable. Okay. So now the question is, do you keep the deck as is or do you sideboard into the Juke? And I think we want to sideboard into the Juke because our deck really struggles to beat Leyline of the Void, and we need to not have that happen. Okay, so we are finishing up boarding out the entire sideboard. All right, there we go. All of the Reanimator package out, all of the Helm package in. Okay, I mean, this is a pretty good hand. We'll keep. Oh, you have a Leyline of the Void? Well, I have a Leyline of the Void. How does that feel? Good, I hope. Aether Vial, you've got it. Lotus Petal. We'll play Bloodstained Mire, Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. Dark Ritual would be our best draw. Thalia. Sure. Fetch. We'll go grab the Undercity Sewers. Prevail 1. We do not need a Thoughtseize. We draw 1 anyway. I'm going to play the Orcish Bowmasters in our main phase. In case some sort of Aether Vial trick, I just would rather make sure that the Thalia dies. And I don't want to burn the Lotus Petal to play Thoughtseize here, because I need that mana to play the Helm of Obedience. And they just pass. Shieldred. I'm going to Thoughtseize here, and just make sure that the coast is clear for the Helm. I might have played Helm out if I had drawn a blue card for the Force of Will, but I didn't. Stoneforge Mystic. They pick up a Lion Sash. Ball Therapy. I don't think I care about any... I guess I care about Flicker Wisp. Okay. We will pass. Lion Sash in the upkeep. And another Stoneforge Mystic. You've got it. We're just looking for any land off the top that wins the game. Another Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual. A lot of hits. But we did not draw one. Okay, I'm going to play the Helm and pass. I mean, they have to kill me or answer the Helm. And we know that their hand doesn't do either. Are we going to get our first match win here? Hey, look at us. We're now 1-3, 1 match left to go. Let's go get 50 play points back. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. The final round, we're on the draw, and I will keep Urza's Saga, okay. Mishra's Bauble, so likely 8 cast. I guess it could be the Black Saga Storm deck. Force of Will. I'm going to play out my Underground Sea and pass the turn. So you could do the draw discard thing, but we have Entomb, so I'd rather not set myself behind doing that play. The Bauble. Urza's Saga goes to the second chapter. Another Saga, so no information gained. Painter Servant. You can have a Painter. And they pick red. On the end step, we'll play Entomb. And we'll grab Griselbrand. We draw Goryo's Vengeance. Play out the Lotus Petal. Let's attempt a Goryo's Vengeance on Griselbrand. Our opponent has 4 cards. Okay, let's draw 7. We have not put Emrakul on the table. It might be nice to do that. We would need to draw Entomb, which I did not do. Let's draw 7 more. And we hit the Entomb. Beautiful. Alright, so at least we get to do the Emrakul thing once this league. Dark Ritual. Now we'll Entomb. Where are you, Emrakul? There you are, you giant spaghetti monster. And now we will Shallow Grave. Sweet. Okay. We have gotten game number 1. Now to get a post-board game. We'll do the sideboard juke and submit. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to send this one back. We are keeping. Dark Ritual Waiting Room. Keep. Leyline of the Void. So they are, in fact, a blue painter, which is what I guessed. They draw off their bauble. We draw another Bowmasters. Versus Saga. Grindstone. Okay. So I guess we're afraid of Painter Servant at the moment. We'll fetch. Go find that Undercity Sewers. Stifle. I was not expecting Stifle out of the blue painter deck. My fault. But we did draw a Dark Ritual. Unfortunately, we only have the one land. Urza Saga is now on the second chapter. They have a seat. And they're going to main phase a construct. Okay. Lotus Petal. So I can try to disrespect Force of Will here and just jam. And I think that's what I'm going to do. If they have it, they have it. Long pause on that Dark Ritual, so it seems like they do have it. Pass the turn. So I'm aware that I put myself in a tough spot here. So our opponent has a Saga that's going to the third chapter. If they have a Pithy Needle in their deck, they can go grab it. But they let this resolve, which means that they don't have Force of Will, because I didn't play a land yet that turn. So if I had a land, they were flat out dead. So it's tough, because also if I wait, I don't have the land to do it next turn. And all of a sudden, they're getting larger and larger. So this is my window. If they have Needle, they have Needle. Aether Spellbomb is not a Needle. City of Traders. Because the Needle was in their hand. That's a bummer. Okay, so we've lost this game, and now we can go to game number 3. We did not see Leyline of the Void, so I think I'm actually going to undo the game plan, and we'll go back to being a combo deck for game number 3. Here we go. I think that this hand is okay enough. We'll start off with an Undercity Sewers. We are looking for more lands. And Underground Sea is in fact a land. We'll keep that on top and pass. Turn 1, Urza's Saga. Grindstone is fine. I'm going to begin with a Brainstorm to see if we can hit a fetch land. And we don't. So we'll put back the Children and Dark Ritual. And I'm going to ponder here. We'll shuffle this. Another Shallow Grave. Urza's Saga goes to the second chapter. That's a Painter Servant. We will attempt a Force of Will. Exile the Brainstorm. In theory, I could have played the Thoughtseize last turn instead of the Ponder, but it sets you so far back knowing that there's 2 cards on top that you don't want. And they have Force of Will backup. So I believe we're just dead. Assuming that our opponent has a land or a Mox Opal in their deck, we are dead. We have no interaction for this combo. They had the perfect curve. I guess they didn't need the turn 1 Grindstone, but oh well. I guess I could brainstorm into the nuts here, like Dark Ritual Entomb. We found Dark Ritual, but we did not find the Entomb. So what does a winning game from here even look like? I think I'm going to put back the Daze. And then in our upkeep, assuming that I can live a turn, which I don't think is possible, but assuming that we do live, I could upkeep Lim-Dûl's Vault for Entomb. And they don't have the mana. So we have to hope that they don't have a Lotus Petal or a Mox Opal to get with the Urza Saga. Wait, I have Emrakul in my deck. I am not dead to the Painter. I completely forgot about that. Okay. It's so weird. I'm not used to playing with Emrakul. And in the one matchup that it's actually just the Stone Cold Nuts is Painter. They grab an Aether Spellbomb. City of Traders. So they can play Karn the Great Creator now. And they do. So that shuts off all of our Lotus Petals. And they're going to plus to turn Grindstone into a creature. They attack. Okay, in our upkeep. Blue, black. We will Lim-Dûl's Vault. Our opponent has 6 permanents. We find Entomb. We will keep Entomb. So I guess, hypothetically, I could get... No, I'm not going to be able to win through the Karn the Great Creator. Who am I kidding? We'll cast Entomb. Grab the Emrakul. And now we will Shallow Grave. So this is going to be my 3 lands versus their no permanents Emry in hand. Our opponent says GG's, so we got the 2-3. And if you look at this league, I know that I complained a little bit at the start of match 4. I apologize. But I mean, we went 1-2 the first 3 rounds. Like, we were never truly out of it. Do I think the deck is flawed? A little bit. So there is another version that I recorded about a year ago that's called Entombsday, where it's 10 fins in game 1, and then you sideboard into Doomsday. I chose today to run the Helm of Obedience package because of the Legacy Leagues right now are a lot of Reanimate decks. So you have the blue-black Scam deck, you have actual Reanimator, you have a lot of, Black Echo, Beseech, Bowmaster decks. And that is why I wanted to play this sideboard package. Did I face those decks today? Of course not, because I'm playing a dedicated sideboard for them. But I thought that it made a little bit more sense than this sideboard Doomsday package, where cards like Red Elemental Blast are still good against you, Endurance is still good against you, stuff like that. So this is a much harder pivot into a fair game plan where those cards affect you less. It just didn't really happen in the video. But 2-3 isn't the worst. We got a little bit of our money back. We had some fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the deck in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a terrific day. And as always, keep storming. See ya. What you should do is like, comment, and subscribe because there's no better way to support us. And if you enjoyed this video, head over to moxfield.com and follow us there. It's truly the best deck website on the internet. We update all of our decks there regularly with the latest and greatest technology, so you're always up to date. Once again, go check out Moxfield, and thank you for watching.